Hey, we are pretty awkward, and we're hanging out with Rob on Front Row Live. Check it out.
It's good to finally get to talk to you guys. We've been having some crazy help from the mother-daughter duo, Kelly and Annie, trying to get this one to happen for some time. So I'm so happy that we finally got to do this, and I'm so thankful for them for always promoting bands. They're always there for bands and helping them kind of get their name out and stuff, and I really appreciate that. So super excited for that. So let's jump in and talk about the new single, Hang Out, because you guys are dropping masterpiece after masterpiece, and the debut album isn't even out yet. So let's talk about Hang Out and jump into the creative process and what that's like between you guys when you guys are starting to write the song.
So, take it away.
Oh, well, typically, we'll start with the music first, right? And build kind of the foundation. And then I'll slap some lyrics and melodies, you know what I mean? It kind of takes, it's different processes, right? We just went through one with a song that, I wrote lyrics and a melody for this piece of music. And then after I was like, it's kind of shit. And then, so he came up with the idea of throwing it to another piece of music and making that fit, and it fit nicer, still a shit. So we just got over that one. But yeah, so it's always different each time. It can start off with the vocals, the melody and all that stuff, and then the music around that. So with Hangout, that was kind of one of the ways that we went about it, which was there was a topic, and spent basically a weekend just writing the lyrics for it. Came back, and the guys that we were working with, Mark and Ian, they had built the music and pretty much just laid what we had on top of it from the weekend, and then called it cool.
How different was it collaborating with Mark and Ian compared to your previous stuff with Heavy?
How would you say that was different? It was there was a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
But I think because they were handling the music, I felt like it was they knew more of what they were zoning in on, especially hearing the lyrics and stuff like that. I felt like
always writing a song is always a different journey and a different way of putting a puzzle together. So it's always cool to see what different things come from getting in with different people and bouncing ideas off each other and what can come from that. So it's always unique in that experience. And that kind of those songs, it's really interesting because a lot of those songs that we're putting out now are songs that we wrote years ago, right? Before this everything, and it's interesting to see the evolution, because back then we were kind of we went down to LA and we're looking over all these producers' shoulders and we're like, hey, what are these guys using? Really our production that we're doing at home. And since then, it's we've really, I feel upped our game in what we've done since we've written. When this hit, we were just let's lock ourselves away and just write as much as possible. So I think the rest of this record, as it comes out, people are going to see that evolution of what we've learned and where we're going and what's going on. So
I feel because you guys learned that production aspect as well, I feel that kind of helped you guys understand your band and your sound a little bit more. In saying that, would you say that assuming that you already had material in mind for this upcoming album, and then you went into kind of learning the production process on your own, would you say that same material still exists, or would you say that it helped you evolve into a different kind of style, a different kind of sound, a different kind of lyrics?
For me, I feel it made it easier to pinpoint exactly what sound to go after, right? So we could easily look at something that we made 5 years ago or whatever, and then recreate it. You know what I mean? To a point to where our taste now and how we feel about our art, the quality of the song that we want to put out and all that stuff, we could upgrade it to that. So it's really it's improved in just really that focus is just a little bit sharpened with all those tools and things.
Yeah, it was we went to music boot camp, right? With all these awesome, cool producers, and we took all that knowledge and went back to Seattle and we're okay, well now we're let's apply all this, and it got really exciting seeing what we were creating on our own now.
Yeah.
Now you guys have been in the scene for some time with various like bands, various sounds and styles. So when you come in to create the music for Pretty Awkward, how would you say those previous projects kind of helped you become better songwriters, better musicians, better singers for this project?
I think just like creating with other people, like just does that naturally, especially like when you're listening to somebody else's song that they've written. And if you're asked to go in and like help out or whatever, it's like, it's cool to see how you can help the song unfold a little bit more. And then, you know, what works.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's definitely helped in like the learning process.
Right.
Now, as we talk about Hangout a little bit more, I feel like it's perfect timing for a song like this. You know, we've been all in our own bubble for the last, feels like a couple years now, and you know, what you guys are voicing throughout the lyrics of the song is basically what we all need. During the writing process of this song, did you feel that because we were all in a bubble, it was easier to write this kind of song, or did you feel it was harder to write this kind of song because you weren't having that experience at that time?
This song was written like 3 years ago.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing. But it was like when we had that song in our arsenal and everything that was happening in the world, we were watching that and we were like,
Yeah.
I think this is the time for that song now. You know, what I mean, you really feel that, and it's just, you can write a song. You know, at one time it was just like, you know, hey, this is cool. It's casually like talking about just genuinely hanging out with your friends and doing that, and then it's gave it a whole new meaning because it's like people really haven't been able to see like their loved ones and their best friends and really just do those things that we all love to do, is just hanging out with your friends. You know, so it's interesting to go from what it started as to what it means now. You know.
Right.
It genuinely was written to just be like a fun song.
Yeah.
Just, I don't want to write something depressing. I want to write something fun. You know, so, and it, to see what it turned into is really cool.
Give it a whole new meaning.
Absolutely.
Now, would you say that this song kind of opens up the floor plan for the upcoming debut album, or is there still more surprises coming from you guys as far as like what fans can expect with the music?
Expect the unexpected.
Yeah. Bring back to like what you said, like with our previous bands and projects that we've worked on, it's like a lot of those times in those projects we might have felt like we were more in a box. And since, you know, working with other producers and realizing that there's more than just a distorted guitar and drums and bass, and why not use every sound in the toy box? You know, why not use something crazy that we would never have even thought of using in our previous projects? And with this band, we're really like, let's just have no limit. Let's do whatever we feel that day. If we go in the studio and it's sounding country, or is it sounding like it needs an accordion, see what happens. You know what I mean? So we just really, I think, in that like evolution of ourselves and with our band was like, there's nothing off limits with this project. Let's try it all. So I think people will be surprised on where we go with those sounds and what they can experience with us.
And as far as production go or producers go, are you guys working with Heavy and Ian and Mark, or is it just Ian and Mark, or just Heavy, or is there a whole new slew of producers that you guys are bringing into this debut album?
So we're gonna be the ones that we're bringing in.
Nice.
Yeah. So we hired ourselves.
Yeah.
Confident in the decision, and we appreciate the decision that we've made for ourselves. No, we've got a few songs done by Heavy, and then I think there was 4 songs that we released prior. Those were done with Heavy. I think there's another one that we did like did a shared production with Heavy, and then a few more with Mark and Ian, and then we actually wrapped up the rest of the record with songs that we wrote this year. So yeah,
so it's gonna be like a nice balance of some songs that we did with these producers, and then songs that these are gonna be like our first songs that we produced putting out, which is really exciting for us.
And it's wild because it spans such a wide amount of time, you know. It does. Snorts. There's like songs, like the record goes from like the end of 2015 to April of this year. You know what I mean? To really like look at all the songs, you know, and how they were. Yeah.
How are you guys able to challenge yourselves as artists while you guys were wearing the producer hat?
I think like before, it's after like looking over those guys' shoulders and seeing like what they're using and what we were missing from our production and what we're doing, and being able to pinpoint those things now, I think it's just been easier to separate that and step, be a producer side and then be, the musician in the studio side, and really kind of just tell ourselves, this is what this needs now, as opposed to someone being like, you know what this needs? So that's like, it's really easy to just be like, I know now. It's really easy to pinpoint that sound now.
I also wanted to say that I'm just brutal to myself
True.
when I'm recording. Like, I'm like, this sucks. And then like I give it a shot for like an hour and then it's fine. But I'll do like 45 takes of a verse or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like overly critical. So I think that's just kind of an inherent thing. Like, I already know. You know
and then we
go
back and
I'm not going to be blissful. Everything I make is really good. It's dope every time. Dude, we were just talking about this. It's like, we don't. We're not making shit. So, yeah. I mean, I think that's the fun that I get out of like the production thing, is that it is always pushing myself no matter what. It's hard when somebody's going, you suck. Like, oh shit, thanks. I already know that.
My fun part's been doing all those takes and be like, yeah, it was the third one.
Happens. Yeah. But it's cool too, because we're also able to toss, we toss it to Jake to throw his guitars on, we throw it to Damien to reference the drums, and make sure that everybody's like stoked. And we do our best to, hey, you've done this before, why don't you try this style or mix it up, genre wise, kind of expand the spectrum of sound.
Austin, vocally, would you say that you were rediscovering your voice during the recording process of these songs, or were you able to hit new ranges that you weren't able to hit before?
I feel like I'm more relaxed than before. In some ways, for sure. There's some of it that still is like, but yeah, there's definitely, I've recognized that there seems to be like topically, there's like several different characters, if you will, you know what I mean? And sometimes the particular tone or voice that I'm using kind of matches those scenarios or whatever is being felt or said through those. So yeah, I mean, there's been times where I gotta go up 2 stories, you know what I'm saying? But I think it's just more relaxed. I think that's the best way to say it, really.
Stepped into those shoes, you're comfortable.
Yeah. Especially, like I said, doing it so much, you know what I mean? And being brutal. But
what about for you, Nick? As far as the bass goes, how do you not run out of content? You've been in various bands in the past. You've been doing this since high school. You've been touring. So how do you not run out of like these like fresh new ideas with your bass?
I think a lot of that came when I discovered Vogue. It's like this sub fatty and just a whole other world of bottom end that I didn't even know about, and blending that with just the bass guitar. So it's always exciting to find new ways to use the low end, whether it's distorted or, dirty sounding, just finding new ways to play with it, different grooves. Yeah.
Make it budget.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, lastly, to close off, as far as Hangout goes, like, what would you guys say was the biggest challenge in order to making this song happen?
I think just getting through the first verse. Really? I mean, it really did. Like, the hook was really there kind of the first day, but then once the first verse was written, it really just kind of went.
Yeah, we got along really well with Mark and Ian, and it felt like just from the moment we got in the room with those guys, the ideas just flew back and forth, and really quick. Like, one of the first days we got in, we probably wrote to us might be one of the best songs that hasn't even out yet. So, and it's crazy to know that some people you can just get in a room and you just click like that, and it's like, oh, okay, and it's just firing back and forth. And it was after that first day, it was like we were only booked for like one day with these guys, and after that we're like, well, let's do more. Let's do this.
Right.
And
we pretty much finished that one song that first day, and then we started Hangout.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it was like
getting the music.
When you just can roll like that, it's really exciting. It's just energy goes quick.
That's awesome. Well, I can't wait for this debut album. Hopefully 2022 is what we're expecting.
Yes.
And then hopefully you guys could get back on the road. I know you guys were in the middle of a tour when everything kind of happened. So I'm sure you guys are looking forward to that.
Definitely. Oh, it's so missed. Oh my goodness.
Awesome, guys. Well, thank you for taking the time, and hopefully the next time we catch up, we'll do this in person backstage at your live show. So congratulations with Hangout, and thank you for hanging out with me.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Thanks,
We're
man.
grateful.